We are live now. We are live. We are live. Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this electrifying, interesting webinar on Become an Eloquent, Powerful, and Confident Speaker. I am so jubilant that you were able to make it to this live. You have taken a bold step to being here, and I cannot appreciate you enough because this night, your voice is to be reclaimed. All of you that have been scared of speaking, of thinking of how to come on live, thinking of how to make sales and all, by God's grace, after this class tonight, we shall be rewriting the narrative. I cannot just wait to start this class because I know it's going to be interesting. So please, I'd like you to use the chat box on the YouTube as I am streaming here from Zoom. So please use the chat box. Let me know if you're here, and we are starting immediately. All right. I'm going to start by telling you a very short story. And as our mama comes in, that's the admin of Wives and Mothers, of course, we get to introduce her and let you hear her voice as well, because we're partnering with her on this webinar. Yes. So my short story. In 2012, when I returned to school for my higher national diploma, I'm talking about Imo State Polytechnic, Umago. Yes, yes, yes. I went to a polytechnic. I went back to study public administration. So I didn't even study English. I studied public administration. Yes, not English. So I had this lecturer called Mr. Kelechi, and he taught us local government administration. Back to 2007, I was in the University of Jos, so I had an inkling of local government administration. Coming back from my HND, I met the same course, local government administration. So I was eager to learn. I was always filled with curiosity and I always wanted to ask questions. I asked questions whenever I could, especially in his class. And every time Mr. Kelechi would promise to answer my question at the end of the lecture, but he never did. After 3 attempts to answer my question, which proved abortive, on one fateful day, Mr. Kelechi walked into the lecture room. And as usual, I just raised my hand to ask a question. Boom! I got the shocker of my life. Mr. Kelechi turned and gave me a look that could freeze water. That was when I knew that I was in for a big problem. And then he went, Jubilant, do you think you are the only one in this class? Every time you like to show off, you like to put yourself out there. Do you think you're the most intelligent? Like when I have to set a question now, if I have to set a question on local government administration or any other topic, do you think you are going to outshine every other person in this class? Please sit. You keep asking questions every time, even when it's needed and when it's not needed. Right there, I just felt like the swallow me. I felt his words coming to me as sharp daggers splitting right into my soul. I felt so humiliated, silenced, and I felt so shattered. I said, what type of thing is this? You know that moment when you were just eager to get an answer, all of a sudden someone is just there busting your bubble. That was how I felt. After that day, I never moved a muscle again. I never was willing to ask any question, no matter who was there. I never was willing to say anything again because I felt that my shine has been taken away from me. I felt the fear of the humiliation silencing my voice. So I couldn't even talk again. It was a major problem for me to crawl out of that shell which I had crawled into after the embarrassment. It became a problem for me and it was so difficult. But what did I do? Because I knew that deep down I had so much to give. I had so much more to say, but someone was there making me feel that I wasn't enough. And so what did I do? A year down the line, I just told myself that I had to find my voice again. I just knew that I had to do something because I'd been silenced for so long. I had let the fear of being humiliated to silence me. I had let it take over me, that I was becoming a shadow of myself. When it was time to speak up, I was just there because all the memory of the first ordeal was playing out in my head, and it was a challenge. I couldn't get over it. So what I did was I had to join Emo Poly Press and other speaking activities just so I could regain my voice, just so I could be myself again. I took a leap of faith, and that was what changed everything for me. It wasn't easy reclaiming my voice, but it was the most powerful decision that I have ever made, even till today. And tonight, I am here to help you reclaim your voice. I am here to help you let you know that no one should ever make you feel humiliated or make you feel that, oh, this is not enough. No, some of us are so scared of public speaking that when it's time to speak, when it is time to express ourselves, when they say, oh, please, you have to head the committee, or I'd like you to be the one to lead this team, or could you please just come out and make a presentation? Please say the opening prayer, lead the children's team. Oh, the stomach in your, the bolts in your stomach are getting tired, your throat is getting so dry, even when the AC is on, you are sweating, you are fidgeting. Why? A lot of us have allowed the memories of what happened in the past to affect us today. A lot of us are so scared of public speaking because we are holding on to the memories of the past. And some of these memories could be stemming from a place of our childhood, maybe where we were working before, the people we have met just from the past. And we keep holding on to them, that whenever an opportunity avails itself for public speaking or to make a presentation or to go live or to just say something where people are, you are fidgeting, you begin to play all of the memory of the embarrassment, of the humiliation you have faced in the past. You let it come back to you and play before you, and it lets you to be silenced. No, you shouldn't let that. It is time to reclaim your voice. I want to see that in the chat box. Yes, put it there. I will reclaim my voice. It shouldn't just be in the comments. It shouldn't be in the background. You should be in the fore. If you have to be relevant in the 21st century, you have to try all you can to be in the fore. And that is what has birthed this topic. Become an eloquent, powerful, and confident speaker. In this webinar tonight, I will teach you how to sell and love and respect every time you speak. I want every time you speak, when you walk into that room, you will leave in a lasting impression. When you open your mouth to speak, heads are turning because they appreciate the sound of what is coming out from your mouth. And you are not doing it carelessly. You are not saying it anyhow. You are saying it with every form of gracefulness and enthusiasm in you, because you are supposed to shine. Please put in the chat box that I will reclaim my voice. Yes, it is time for you to shine. And we have a mama here. I think she's online now. Wives and mothers. Please, mama, can you unmute and just say something to us before we continue? Yes, mama. I can see her on the call. I believe she's here. Mama, are you here? We want to hear your voice. Good. I'm seeing the chat box. I will reclaim my voice. Oh, a lot of you are joining me here on Zoom. Amazing. Mama, can you talk to us? Could you please unmute and talk to us? Okay, I think I have to unmute you. Yes. Okay. Yes, you can unmute now. Please unmute and talk to us. Yes, Mama, are you here? We are live, we are live, we are live. Okay, so while we wait for her to unmute and talk to us, I think we will continue. Maybe she's not close to her phone. So before, you might be sitting by your phone and asking, who is this woman? Why does she have, what authority does she have to talk to us? And that's why I'd like you to meet me in a moment. I'd like you to know who I am and why I think you should listen to me. So my name is Jubilant Justice. I am an experienced, passionate, and certified elocutionist for the past 8 years with over 8,000 trainees. Yes. I am a Jolly Phonics expert and consultant with over 5 years of experience. I consult for schools which aid in the selection of phonics and English language teachers. I am a personal elocution coach for top government officials and high-ranking individuals. I am part of the board member at Atlanta Lingo Communications, an exceptional host and compare for corporate occasions. I am the present PRO for the Association of Diction Coaches for Abia State Spelling Bee. I am the founder and lead trainer at Diction God. And then I am a mother and wife to a delicious king. Yes, to meat of the martyr. As a result of what I do, as a result of me being an elocutionist or a diction coach, from a place of being timid to articulate orators, from unclear speakers to crystal clear communicators, from hesitant voices to confident expressors, from shy mutterers to bold articulators, from inarticulate mumblers to precise and fluent enunciators, from unclear talkers to polished speakers, from unsure voices to authoritative presenters. And my aim, my goal, my vision for tonight's webinar is to move you from the place of mumbling, from the place of unclear speeches, from hesitant voices. I want to help transform you to the eloquent, confident and powerful speaker that you are supposed to be. Don't worry, there will be time for questions. We would ask questions at the end of this webinar. I cannot be Mr. Kelechi that would tell you to ask questions at the end of the webinar and not let you ask questions. So you will ask your questions. Please keep your questions. You will ask at the end of the webinar. I hope you can see me. Can you see me, please? Now, I understand your journey. Do not feel that, oh, she just fell from the moon, or she has been in the UK for a very long time, or she has traveled the world around. Let me shock you. I have never traveled abroad before. Yes, I am bold to say it. I can say it anywhere because I know that you do not need to travel abroad to be able to speak right. You do not need to japa before you can have a good command of your diction. You do not need to be outside Nigeria before you can become eloquent, powerful, and confident. Everything can be learned provided you are willing. So I have been where you are. I have been in the places of mumbling, the places of nervousness and clear pronunciation that you are now, which has motivated you to join this webinar, which has motivated you to come to this live, to watch. And my goal for the night is to help move you from where you are now to being a confident, powerful, and eloquent speaker. So when people hear you, they will know that, yes, this is someone that has invested in his or herself. That's my goal for the night. Okay. That is my vision. And I understand that you may feel discouraged or you think that, oh, this will not work for you. Or some of you now want to believe the myth that speakers are born and not made. That's not true. It is a myth. Yes, it is a myth. Speakers are not born. Speakers are made. Speakers are made, not born. Nobody just came out from his or her mother's womb and started speaking. You could tell me that there are environments or there are enabling areas for the person to speak, but not that the person was a born speaker. It is that the person has stepped into a place of authority and has mastered the art of speaking. The person has been able to hone the art of speaking. And that is why I want you to also be here and hone the art of speaking right, because you can do it. All right. So put in the chat box, say it, affirm yourself that you can do it, and you will see yourself doing it. Now, if you ever want to connect with me, I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, I am on TikTok with these accounts that you can see on the screen. And if it happens to me that you want to put a call through to me, you want to talk to me on the phone, you have concerns, you have suggestions, you have reactions, you have contribution, there are things bothering you, you want to pour out your heart, please, by all means, use the number that you were seeing on your screen to call, and I'll be at the other end waiting to attend to you. Now, you might be asking, what will I be learning in this webinar? Well, these are the things that you will be learning in this webinar. Yes, I can do it. I can see your chat. At the end of this webinar, you will be learning 5 things. 5 basic things. That's what you'll be learning. The first, you would learn that you will learn the new rulers of this world. The second is you would learn how to speak powerfully. The third is you would learn how to speak confidently. The fourth, you would learn how to speak eloquently. And the last, you would learn the action steps that you would follow to be an eloquent, confident, and powerful speaker. So one might ask, in this world that we are in, who rules the world? This is not who rules the world, girls. This is not the girls. This is not the ladies. We're talking about when it has to do with growth, development, continuous professional development. What is the thing that rules the world? And you would have it, skills. Skills is the new ruler of the world. The world has moved from what did you study to what can you do. Yes, I studied public administration, as I shared with you in my story when I started. But here I am teaching elocution, and I'm teaching it so well because I am not defined by what I studied. You go to the banking industry, you see a lot of engineers. You go to the engineering world, you see a lot of people who have been in different, who studied different things. And then because they have understood that skill is as important as the air that you breathe. And that is why they have capitalized it. They have leveraged on it, and they are speaking their way to stardom. They are making exploits in their respective endeavors because they've understood that skill has taken over the world. 2 years ago, when I traveled to have my baby, there's this particular room. There are lots of things piled up in that room. In fact, I would say the room was dormant. No one was using it. You know that room in the house where everything that is not in use is just dumped there? We had a particular room like that in my father's house. And so I looked at the room. I knew I was going to have visitors over when the baby was to come. And then I called some boys and I asked all of them, I said, please take everything out of this room. I do not want to see anything there. Take them out and burn them. Oh, my mom said, no, this is the one that my grandmother gave me. Please don't touch this. Don't touch this. I said, no, everything will be out. As a very heavy pregnant woman, I was seated there just by the door, watching them take everything out. And then I saw this black waterproof seated somewhere at the extreme of the room. And I asked one of them to get it for me. When I opened the waterproof, I saw what shocked my eyes. Every proof that I had ever gone to school, every certificate that I've been given as someone who had passed a level and advanced into the other was tied inside that waterproof. From my first school living certificate down to my NYSC discharge, all was inside the waterproof. Why? No one has seen it. I've not given it to anyone. No opportunity to give it to anyone. Because when I open my mouth and speak, when I come to pitch my business to you, you don't need any other evidence. So nobody has asked me, what did you study? Can you come defend public administration? If you ask me now, I don't even know a thing there. Elocution has taken over my brain because I have stepped into a place of authority. I have mastered my craft. I am, by God's grace, getting to be a master at it. So gone are the days where people are interested in what you studied. Now we are into what can you do? And you realize that the emergence of work from home and the rise of many jobs after COVID has led to different roles. You hear someone just seated in the comfort of his home and dollars are just raking into his account because he would tell you, I am a data analyst. I am a tech bro. You sit at home and money comes in. Why? Why? Because of what? Skill. The person has learned one skill that he doesn't even need to report anywhere, to show up anywhere. Just with the skill that he or she has learned, he or she is beginning to make money. So the internet has opened their eyes to content creation, to monetization and the likes. You'd realize that the internet space, the online space is saturated. We do not have the patience to sit by our phone and watch because there are a lot of things to watch. And to watch all through. And you who is running a business, excuse my manners, you who has a business, you who is a leader somewhere, you're an educator, you're a teacher, you're leading a group somewhere, you want to come to the online space that is very saturated, where people have low retention span, and you want to also make a difference in the same online space, and hello, you don't have any skill. Do you think you would thrive? Do you think you would succeed? That is why it's very important that we become eloquent, confident, and powerful. So even when we come up to sell sachet water to the public, our confidence will speak. It will exude. The mannerism, the way with which we say it would go a long way to appeal to the conscience of our buyers. I made a post this afternoon and I said that people would not remember what you said. People would not remember what you did. But people can never forget how you made them feel. How are you making people feel with your words? That's why we are gathered here today. And this is the place where we get to understand the place of speaking right. Look at this. We have over 30 job opportunities available to someone who is confident, powerful, and eloquent. Someone, you could be a customer success, you could be a motivational speaker, you could be a financial advisor, you could be a social media manager, you could be an MC, you could be a red carpet host, because all of these, you have to speak. Yes, you have to speak. Now, what is the binding force? What is the thing that can help us? Even if we're selling crayfish, even if we are just a janitor, even if we clean houses for people, even if it is fan that we are selling, water bottle, as trivial, as monotonous as our business others can perceive it to be, what is the thing that can help us to thrive and remain relevant in the 21st century? Three things: power, eloquence, and confidence. Why? In the digital age where communicate, persuade, and inspire through confident, powerful, and eloquent speech, they are the ones that would rise to the top, commanding higher salaries and greater opportunities. Now we've understood that skill is as important as the air that we breathe. The second thing that we shall be looking at is how to be a powerful speaker. How can we be a powerful speaker? Very important. Let's find out. But to explain this, I'll be giving you a quote by Ferdinand Forge. And he said, "The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire." He said, "Let your passion ignite your words and fuel your communication." Let's look at what that means. Passion is that incredible, potent force in communication. Passion, this quote just quite beautifully encapsulates this idea of passion being the driving force. It is that compelling communication power. It is that weapon that holds what? Immense power in your communication. Now, when you are truly passionate about what you are saying, either in a live session, virtual, or physically, wherever it is you are, it would help you to shine through your words, through your gestures, through your overall demeanor. It just captivates your audience and it draws them into your message, which in turn now makes communication to be very impactful and memorable. Now, when people leave, when you leave the stage after speaking, people can still remember how you made them feel. And then to be a confident, powerful, and eloquent speaker, you have to be a passionate speaker. Now, you have to speak as though your soul is ablaze with conviction, persuasion, and what? Enthusiasm. Very important. When we talk about your soul being on fire here, we're not saying you should burn literally. No. We want to evoke an imagery of intense emotion and fervor that when you were speaking, it's as if you were ablaze with conviction, as if you were ablaze with enthusiasm, with passion. You're saying it very gracefully. And every individual has this fire in his or her voice. The only thing that you are speaking and people are not listening to you is maybe you are not igniting the fire that is in your voice. I am not saying shout. I am saying just ignite the fire. Someone should just type ignite the fire. I want to see that in the chat box. Ignite the fire in your voice. When you are speaking, there should be this passion. There should be this passion that would burn literally, so that it will infuse your words with energy, with enthusiasm. For what? Authenticity. Igniting the fire in your voice to fuel your communication, to infuse your words with energy and authenticity. Very important. Listen, you cannot just afford to be a lazy speaker. No. Imagine I came on this live and I'm saying, when you are talking about your product or your service, you have to make sure that there is a fire in your voice. Meanwhile, there's no fire in my voice. I'm just giving this cold look. Think of the best pastors that you know. Think of the best public speakers that you know. Even when you go to church and the pastor is vibrating from the pulpit, you say, oh, today's anointing, I can feel it. Why? You could see him exude the passion in his voice. You could see how gracefully he is preaching with every form of enthusiasm. You could feel it that is flowing through his soul. He is not just saying it because he wants to say it. You can feel it that he is saying it, and it helps you to be genuine. The way I am speaking, imagine that you were advertising your product that way. You're igniting the fire. When I don't mean shout. I mean the air that's coming from your stomach to your lungs to your mouth. I want you to support it with air. Because you might be asking, how do I start? How do I make this work? How do I even get about it? Oh, I'm introverted. Oh, I don't have a loud voice. I'm not saying shout. I'm saying just ignite the fire there. Ignite it. The way you turn on the gas, all of a sudden, before you know it, or your oven, it begins to heat. It gets to 100, it gets to 180. As it goes, you feel the intensity begin to build up. That's how you need to build up with your intensity when you are talking to people. Yes. Someone say, build the intensity. Type it in the chat box. Build the intensity. I want to see that. And then you have to make use of vocal variety and pauses. When you are just speaking, you're just like someone on the express lane. You're speaking and speaking. There's no break. There's no comma. Imagine you're writing that. No punctuation anywhere. And you are just speaking. No, no, no. People would not understand you. If you have been listening to me, at some point you will think I'm not there. I'm just taking a minute pause. When you speak, there is a cadence and a rhythm to your voice that has to go up and down. You need to highlight the parts that are important in your speech with your intonation. You need to let us know that, oh, this part is very important. And then you need to slow down and make me hold on for a minute and wait for you. Did you feel the tone with which I slowed down there when I said, hold on for a minute? That's what makes a good speaker. You don't just speak and it runs all through. You have to take a pause. When it is time to take a pause, when it is time to slow down, when it is time to highlight, when it is time to fire on, because we know that we speak in streams of utterances. I'd like you to deploy these skills. I am giving you practical steps that you can use from your next live, when you go live, from your next presentation, when it is time to communicate. Why? Be okay with silence. Be okay with pause in a moment so that you can catch your breath and so that your listeners can catch their breath also. Sometimes I just need you to let me breathe as a listener. And by the time I take that pause, you begin to look up. If you were getting distracted or not focused in the speech or what I am saying, and then I just give you that pause. By the time the pause creeps in, you've raised your head. You want to know, why is she stopping? And that's a very good highlight. That's a very good way to know a powerful speaker. So make use of your pauses. And then whenever you sound convincing enough, you connect more with your audience on a deeper level. They begin to see you beyond the ordinary. They begin to understand that, oh, I can really feel it. When you were in church, or the day you gave your life to Christ, the day the pastor was preaching for the questions, the day you gave your life to Christ, why? What leads to that? There was a conviction, right? The conviction did not come from someone who wasn't activating the fire in his voice. You were convinced. You felt it. It was just like, the currents passing through the meter, and you could just felt it. You could connect on a very deeper understanding and level. You could connect. Sometimes when we buy product online or we just say, oh, this person is so good with the advert. Wow, the person can help you connect on a deeper level with him or her. Someone should type in the comments, say connect on a deeper level. I'd like to see that. Yes, 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 please type that. Connect on a deeper level. Connect on a deeper level. Good, good, good. Connect on a deeper level. Type it, connect on a deeper level. So please make sure that you believe in the power of your voice. Speak with purpose, speak with passion and poise. Then watch as your words move mountain. When I said passion and poise, you don't speak and then you're slouching, you're drooping, your voice is down. It means that your voice would also be down. But when you project yourself, when you raise your face, if you were standing to make a voice note or to go live, or as I'm seated, you could see my posture. Look at my back. It is straight. If I'm slouching, it gives me that I'm just relaxing. When you were seated up, when your shoulders are held high, your head is up. The reason I'm bringing it down is because of the laptop. You know your head is held high, your shoulders are up, you tuck in your stomach a little. It gives you a good posture and helps with the projection that comes from your stomach, from your diaphragm to your mouth, and helps you to build a successful vocal image. That successful vocal image is what will help both with your pronunciation, with your articulation, with your enunciation. When you were speaking, you were clear, you were succinct, you were articulate. We can love what you say because you are saying it right. That's how to become a powerful speaker. That is how to become a powerful speaker. The third thing to learn is how to speak confidently. By 9, hopefully we'll be rounding off this webinar. Yes, so it's a 1-hour webinar. How to speak confidently. We have learned the new rulers of this world. We have learned how to speak powerfully. Now we are going to learn how to speak what? Confidently. Now, confidence can only come from a place of competence. Sometimes the reason we run away from speaking engagement, or when they say, please come lead the team, come lead this committee, could you please tell us? And then you're like, I don't have anything to say. And then you're like, oh, I'm shy. I don't want to be there. Have you heard of glossophobia? Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking. The intense fear of public speaking. And hey, let me tell you, everyone at one point or another, no matter how good, go research. The best public speakers also have that fear. It creeps in at one point or another. And when it creeps in, when the nerves are just trying to take over you, you need to transfer the nerves. You need to convert the nerves that are creeping over you to make it all about yourself, because it is always about yourself. You begin to think, oh, my pronunciation is not so good. My voice is bad. I'm not dressed properly. It's always about you. Stop being selfish to yourself. It shouldn't always be about you. If people have given you the authority to listen to you, if people have given you their time and say, please come talk to us about something, you should make it worth their time. You should make it count for them. You should stop thinking about yourself. You should stop, oh, I'm shy, I'm afraid. It's always about I. When you begin to think that people are looking up to you to say something that they will applaud you for, it would help you. It will go a long way to change that side, to help you embrace the nerves and use it to fire on. Use it to ignite that fire in your voice. Use it to give them back to back. Because you have understood how to convert the nerves. And then you have to know your topic. Embody it so well. Don't say you want to go live to talk about a topic you're not so conversant with, something you are not versatile with. Even if it is about your product. If I am to sell this dictionary, for example, I want to sell this dictionary and I keep telling people this is the latest edition of the dictionary. I don't go the extra mile to find out things about this dictionary. I can't even go a long way to explain to people that we've had different editions, but this is the latest edition. I cannot begin to tell them the varieties or the distinguishing factor with this dictionary and other versions of the dictionary. Then I've not started. I'm not serious. I need to embody it. I need to step into it. I need to own it. I need to master it. If you say you are a fashion designer, you should know the intricacies. So when they call you to speak in an event or starters or whatever it is about fashion design, you'll be able to step into a place of authority and hone your skill. And then there's this confidence that comes with, I know what I am saying, because I will reiterate, confidence comes from a place of competence. When you know what you're doing, when you are so sure of your topic, forget it. You walk with your shoulders held high because, hey, you feel no one. They're no rich. They're no rich. Someone should type they're no rich. Yes, it's very important. And if you were ever thinking of how to become a confident speaker, you've not been the talking type, you've not been going out there, you've not been speaking in front of people, the thing I would tell you is this: start with small audiences. You just have to look for opportunities to be out there. I'm going to share a very short story with you. Late August last year, I started hosting event. I have never hosted event before. I've never done any MC job, but just because I know that I can speak right, I felt I should be able to earn more. Remember our topic, learn how to earn more, make sales, earn love and respect just because you speak every time you speak. So I told myself that I could go into MCing and also make money from there. What did I do? I was looking for opportunities to build my profile. I was looking, and the first event I ever hosted, I just told the person, please, I would be willing to do this at a very discounted rate. Just pay my fare. Pay my fare and I will show up to host your event. I went to YouTube, I watched a lot of videos on how to host events, the things I need to know, because that was not my niche. That was not my path. That was not my area of specialty. And so I began to look for small stages that I could stand and see how I would do. I began to record myself whenever I went up the stage. I began to call people to help me to video so I could critique myself at the end of the day. And as I'm talking to you, I've paid over 200,000 to learn how to host events professionally, because by God's grace, I've been able to build my profile, and I've even hosted a government event just because of the way I speak. So even when I get on the phone with you to pitch and tell you I could help you host your event, you don't need any profits to say, are you sure you can do this, ma'am? Just because of the way I speak, it gives that credibility alone. And I want you to step in, start thinking of ways that you can make money, because with the present economy, you cannot just relax with one stream of income. No, it cannot work. It cannot work. I'm beginning to tell my team members, some of them, I said, begin to tell the schools you go that you could be the RMC during graduation. Make extra money out of it. Why am I saying this? Start with small audiences. You could be in church and they say, okay, who would lead the children? You say, don't worry, volunteer. Start talking to the children. At least the children want to laugh at you. Start talking to the children. When they say, who can pray? Say, I will pray. Raise your hand. It's a public speaking. It doesn't mean when thousands of people are there. When one person is there, it's already a public. Start from there. That's where you build your confidence from. When I began to share my story, when I started this webinar, I shared my story of how I regained my voice. I didn't let the fear of the humiliation that I felt back then to silence me. And I do not want you to be silenced either. You need to reclaim your voice. You need to shine on stage. You need to make money. You need to do more. You need to give more. You need to be more. You need to have that be, do more paradigm shift by being eloquent, powerful, and confident. Sometimes if you were cold, maybe some of us do this mistake of when we go live on our social media platforms or when we are called to speech, we just start with, hi everyone, my name is Jubilant. Today I'll be, no, that is old school. That is boring. Start with a strong opening. A strong opening, you could start in either of these ways. First, you could start with a question, thought-provoking question, not just any question. You could start with a quote. You could start with a story. These are three ways to start any good speaking engagement. And that was why I started this webinar by sharing the story of how I lost my voice and how I have reclaimed it and how I have built on it over time. So you need to start strong. If you want to gain people's attention, if you want to get them glued to you, listening to you for as long as you speak, you need a hook. A strong opening is always a hook. Please type that. A strong opening is always a hook. You know what a hook is? When you go fishing, you need a bait that you put in the hook. So when you use the bait and you put it in the hook, it catches the fish. That's how it is with speaking. You don't just go speaking and you're saying, hi, everyone. No, that is boring. You don't want to be boring. You don't want to sound boring. Well, not after this class. You could start with a thought-provoking question. If I hadn't started this webinar with a story, I would have started this webinar by saying, imagine walking into a room where everyone is gathered. All of a sudden, you are beckoned upon to speak. And then imagine yourself mounting on that stage and speaking, and everyone is applauding you. I am helping you to create mental pictures in your head already. And that is a thought-provoking question. I am telling you to imagine. And after painting these pictures, and I would say, would you like to be that person? Would you want to step into that shoes? That is a thought-provoking question. You could start with a quote. The post I made this afternoon on Facebook was, I just started with a quote by Maya Angelou. And I said, people will forget what you said. People will forget how you said it, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That is a quote. Imagine I just start the live webinar with that. It is a strong hook. So there are a lot of hooks in your niche, in your area of specialization. Please find these things. Ask ChatGPT is there at least. Go search, go online, look for materials. That's one way to build confidence. That's the one way to make you a confident speaker. And then you need to know your audience and connect with them. Know your audience and connect with them. They cannot call you for a speaking engagement and you're not asking, who is my audience? Who are the people that I will be speaking to? Even in these events that I'm beginning to host now, no one can call me and say, oh, there's an event, we want you to come and host. I need to know, is it for professionals? Is it for doctors? I need to know, is it for children? Is it for teenagers? It will also help you with your vocabulary, with your language selection, because language is key. So it helps you to know what to say and how you were saying it. And then if you were ever shy, you are not confident, you don't know how to go about it, when you get to that stage, or when you've turned on your camera, when you're about to go live, your camera is on, you don't know what to say, you want to just turn it off immediately. One thing I would advise is picture a positive visualization. Just imagine yourself having a wonderful presentation and walking out. Just imagine yourself killing it. Imagine people applauding you. Imagine yourself stepping down the podium and people are rushing you to get your number. Once you build that positive mental picture in your head, it will give you a good way to start your speaking engagement. So that's another way to become a confident speaker. And then you have to join a speaking group. If you are that person that you're yet to hone your skill of speaking, join a speaking group. A speaking group that I could suggest to you is Toastmasters. Toastmaster is in every city. I have not joined any, but I know that Toastmasters would help you build your confidence over time because they do a lot of table topics. Their table topics is they just call you and say, oh, someone should talk a minute on this topic. You talk in a minute. They'll give you a topic and I say, talk about this topic for a minute. That is table topic. And when you do this first time, of course, it might be a flop because you've not mastered it. It's an art that you've not learned. It's a skill you've not honed. It's fine. It's okay. Fall down. It will be a flop, but stand. After that, try again. Try again. The more you do something, the better you become at it. The more you do something, the better you become at it. In education, we learned that whatever we do consistently for 21 days, it becomes a habit. So imagine you stepping into places of authority with your speaking skills, you become a pro. Now we are done with how to become a confident speaker. We're on our point number 4, which is how to be an eloquent speaker. How to be an eloquent speaker. See, eloquence is not just what comes natural. A lot of people talk, but just a few persons speak. And that's why it's going to be very difficult for you to pick up a book and you see public talking skills. No, it's usually public speaking skills. We have less than 10 minutes to round off this webinar. It's usually public speaking skills because speaking is deliberate, speaking is intentional. When you are speaking, you are careful of your words, your presentation, your language, your tone, your nuances, your credibility, the highlights, the cadence, the up and down, your intonation. You are taking cognizance of all of these. And if you have to be an eloquent speaker, you have to be articulate. So articulation refers to the clarity and precision of speech. I am not saying have an accent. I don't have the British accent. I don't have the American accent, but I am socially intelligible. I speak and you can readily understand what I am saying. I am articulating my words so clearly. I am landing with my consonants that you can hear all the words that I am pronouncing. That's what makes you an eloquent speaker. So by the time your thoughts begins to roll out and you begin to speak to people, they flow with you. Because conversations have their flow. So you need to properly enunciate each word, each syllable, each sound. We should be able to know when you're saying thank and when you're saying tank. Imagine you travel abroad and you say, oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, thank you. The white man begins to look at you and begin to imagine a GP tank for me. You say, oh, a GP tank for me. Thank you. Of course, that's what thank you means. You say tank, a GP tank, thank you. It doesn't make sense. But when you are very deliberate, you're sticking out your tongue. When you are sticking out your tongue and placing it in between your teeth and you are saying thank, he understands when you are saying thank and when you are saying thank. That comes with properly enunciating your words, your syllable, your sounds, your being articulate. One way to be articulate, one way to be eloquent is to practice tongue twisters. They are vocal exercises to enhance your word articulation. Don't say, I cannot, I cannot. That is why you have to learn it. The next tip is you have to be fluent. You have to be fluent. Start from A before you get to B. Nobody just wakes up and becomes an eloquent speaker. When I went to camp, NYSC, I was in Iseluku after graduation in 2014. I was in Iseluku, Delta State. I walked into camp like every other corps member. I was the ordinary Hafana, where you they go kind of lady who walked into the camp. But when it was the Said week, you know, the last week of Said, where we usually have people come to introduce different skills to people. People came with different skills. This one came with wig and said, oh, if you want to learn how to make wig, you find me under that stand. Someone came with dresses. I say, if you want to learn how to make dresses. And then one beautiful young woman stepped up the podium. She took the microphone. Just the first second, the first few words of her mouth, and everywhere went silent. We could literally hear the sound of peel fall on the ground. The sound of pin, you could hear it because she was very eloquent. That is the command you have when you can speak right. That is the attention I want you to command in every room you step into. You need to leave there making a lasting impression. Immediately I heard her speak. I said, this is where I need to be. And so I was there. I joined her for her class. I participated. After camp, I started to speak right. I was trying to enunciate my words. It was not easy, but I was making progress. I was trying to be articulate. And here I am today. I have mastered it over time. And you can also be that. Before I met Mrs. Schroeder, my boss, I was just being fluent. I was just being fluent. There are people that you listen to them, you just like the sound of English. The way they speak, you like the sound of it. English comes out so crisp and clear. I'm not saying they have an accent or they are speaking with any sort of panache or class. No, you just hear the sound of English is so smooth. Maybe they had good education. They went to good schools or they've traveled. They had good exposure. But what about both of us if you've never been fluent before? How can you get into this saturated online space and still be relevant? You need to master. You need to step into a place and master how to be an eloquent speaker. So fluency is the smooth and uninterrupted flow of speech that comes. And then I said, avoid excessive pauses and filler words. Do not so some filler words are just those non-verbal words, those words that do not make sense that you add to your words. Some people cannot speak without saying I'm not sure you've heard me say any since I started. Nobody gets to that automaticity at once. It's over time. It's a journey. It's a progress. When you get to one, before you can count two and get to three. So you need to firstly start by being fluent. If you are not fluent, from fluency, we move you to eloquence. And if you are not an eloquent speaker, start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. It's very important. Practice speaking slowly and clearly to enhance fluency. Ordinarily, I am a fast speaker. I speak very fast, especially when I have a lot of thoughts I want to roll out. I know that I have my cadence of speech that would come in its form. I am a fast speaker. But sometimes I need to step on the throttle at some time, and the other time I need to apply my brakes because I don't want to run too fast that my listeners cannot follow. If you are a fast speaker, as I am, make use of these tips and start speaking your way to stardom. The next is the X factor, what I call the X factor. To be an eloquent speaker, the X factor here represents your unique style and charisma as a speaker. Listen, we all have our unique speaking styles. If you listen to my colleagues, my teammates, the staff who are being deployed to schools to teach in our respective branches, we don't sound the same way. My younger sister and I don't sound the same way. Miss Christie, my assistant, and I, we don't sound the same way. Your voice is only peculiar to you. Do you know why? There can only be one jubilant. There can only be one chamaka. There can only be you. So you need to be you. You don't have to be someone else. You don't have to walk in the shadow of someone else. You don't have to mimic someone and not be original. Because when you begin to mimic someone and try to sound like the person and fake it like the person, at the end of the day, you will struggle in your speaking. That's the way you need to find out your unique speaking style. Harness it, find it firstly so you can nurture it. Nurture it over time and be you. So when people are saying, we need it to sound like Oprah, Oprah is a good person. And so because you heard that Oprah is a very good speaker, or because you've heard that Rhoda is a very good speaker, because you've heard Jubilant is a very good speaker, you want to speak like Jubilant. You wouldn't show your authenticity when you were sounding like Jubilant or Amaka or any other person. You need to sound you. But the only thing I need you to do to be eloquent is to understand that in speaking, you need to understand where to bring in the rhythm, the highlights, the up and the down, the intonation. You need to understand how to harness that, so that when you were speaking, we understand you activate the melody in your speaking. Hey, someone type melody in your speaking. If you were speaking and there's no melody, it means you are talking and you are not speaking. When you were speaking and it's boring to the ears, there's no rhythm, there's no style, there's no class, there's no panache. Hey, you need to try again. You need to try again, redefine it. Someone type melody. English language is rhythmic in nature. Yes, it's rhythmic in nature. I'm seeing your chats. Good. I'm seeing the chats. Very good. Yes, let's keep them coming. So develop your own speaking style, please. Embrace your strength and showcase your personality. It is only when you are being original that you can showcase your personality. Some of us have gone on Instagram and then I'm just ordering for a product that I know I might not even use just because I love the person's personality. Maybe I like the way the person speaks. Maybe I like the way the person says what he or she says. You need to find your own speaking style and stick to it. And then the next is aim for clarity and not accent. Avoid any word accent, please. Do not say, I want to sound British. I want to have the British accent. Let me tell you, if you go to the UK, we have different types of accents. We have the posh, we have the Welsh, we have the Cockney, we have the Irish, we have different accents. Now, if you say you want to learn the accent, which of the accents would you learn? Is it a posh accent? Is it a Cockney? Is it the Irish? Is it the Scottish? Which accent would you learn? Because if you want to say, oh, okay, today I want you to talk about something, I like to take this bottle of water and put over that. Say, uh, uh, what? What is doing you? What is the color of your problem? Imagine I am doing that to a nursery child, or I'm trying to follow maybe the New York accent or the California accent. Of course, they have different accents, even though it's all in the US. They're different accents and they have their different styles of speaking. If I say I want to speak in this particular way and I'm doing that to a nursery child, the child will just be looking at me, and the next minute the child is dozing because, hey, I'm not communicating. You need to communicate right. We need you to speak and we can readily understand you. We need you to speak and you are so clear and succinct with your speech, with your pronunciation, with your enunciation as well. So choose a universal English as against an accent. For me, what I advocate for is the received pronunciation, RP, which is the neutral, natural kind of English that is void of all accents. It is sometimes called the BBC English. So clarity should be your key. And I think this is the last skill. Develop a quest for good diction. So aim at developing yourself constantly. Let me tell you something. You see, in anything we do in this life, continuous professional development is the key. If as a human being, you don't think of developing yourself the way you were in January, the way you are in March, down to April and December, another year would come by, you're still the same person. Hey, you don't know what you're bringing upon yourself. Let me tell you something. The way the world is going, that knowledge you think you have this moment, before you know it, in the next 2 minutes, it is expiring because more trends and practices are evolving. And if you don't get yourself abreast with these practices and trends, hey, the train would leave you behind. You don't want the train to leave you behind. We humans are just like a bag. I wish there was a bag somewhere. So a bag, let me take this, my baby scream. So there is nothing, my baby scream now is finished, right? So when it is time to bring something out, I might put my hand and not bring out anything here because nothing is inside. Things inside of our body, inside of ourselves. So when it is time to contribute, and it is time to have a constructive criticism, you should have something to say. You should make an input. And a man can only say as much as you when it is time to deposit. When others yes, you just open your mouth. You don't know what to say. All you keep saying is yes. You begin to go back to the of staying at the full. You begin to stay on other people's opinion. You in here instead, let alone contribute. You don't want to be that. Professional development, CPD. CPD is the key. And one way to have a good CPD is by being eloquent, confident, box. CPD, have CPD. CPD is continuous professional development. And to round this off, I'll tell you that in all of these, if all these tips I've given you seem not to be working for you, if all that I've been saying seem not to make sense to realm yet, if all I've been saying is just sounding like someone who is pouring water on a stone that is just feathering out and not penetrating, then you need to get a professional help. Walk you through the process because it is a journey that sometimes you get discouraged. Sometimes people would laugh at you that you were trying to be that eloquent, powerful speaker. Sometimes people will say, open your mouth and talk, like my brother would tell me when I started my journey. He would say, babe, what is this? Open your mouth and talk now. You bite your tongue. Did you see the way I switched to talking? And if you are that person, today is not the right day for me. You need to get a professional help. And I have this professional help, which is why I'm introducing the Diction Craft Academy to you. This is my baby online school. I get a lot of DM and messages on how to train people online to be this confident, powerful speaker, but I've not got the luxury of time. But I've decided to bring this online to help each and everyone who'll be interested, to help business owners, to help entrepreneurs, to help public speakers, to help pastors, teenagers, students, whatever it is you're doing, whatever field you find yourself. I am rooting for you. And if you realize in almost all the posts I make in my social media, I have a signature that says, I love to see you grow. I love to hear you speak right, because I really love to see you speak right. And that's why the Diction Craft Academy was born. It was born to help people to speak their way to stardom. It was born to help people to speak, and people would applaud them because they like the sound of what's coming out from their mouth. It's an online school for adults and children. And this is going to be coming up in batches. So like I said, it's an online diction school. It's coming up in batches. Our next batch will be coming up on the 1st of July, and it will run through to the 4th of August. It's going to last for 5 good weeks. For 5 good weeks, I want to keep you by my side. I want to hold your hand to walk you down the road. I want to be with you in the journey. I want to help you. I want to watch your progress. I want to watch your performance. And I've got a lot of testimonials from people who have come for my one-on-one training. Just visit any of our social media platforms and you will see, especially on Instagram, at least that's where you can pin more than one post. You would see a lot of people who have moved by God's grace from a place of talking to a place of speaking. You would watch videos, not people who, you would watch videos of people who have been transformed because they went through a course that I'll be introducing to you. The course is the Elocution Mastery course. This course has been designed, it's been meticulously crafted to help you sail and scale, to help you upgrade, to help you be that eloquent, powerful, and confident speaker that you've always wanted to be, so that when you speak, people begin to turn their heads and say, who the heck is that? That's the effect I want you to have everywhere you go. So the Elocution Mastery course is a comprehensive course that deals with almost everything that you need to speak right. There we'll be talking about talking and speaking. We'll get into details. We delve into details to dissect it and understand it. We'll be talking about the British English and the British accent, the impact of our mother tongue and the English language. Some of us cannot speak without having that interference from our mother tongue. Some of us speak English, and though it sounds like our native languages, some of us speak English and we could easily tell that you're an emotic man. My brother, that thing is 20,000 naira. You begin to speak that way because even when the stage changes, even when it is time for you to sound polished, you do not know how to sound polished because of the influence of your mother tongue. So we help you to reduce the mother tongue interference on your English to help you sound good. We help you to activate the melodious part of your English. We'll look at word stress and how to use it rightly. We will perfect our word endings. So when others are saying pronunciation, you're saying pronunciation, you're pronouncing your word endings and it's sounding like a music to the ears. We help you with your good pronunciation, intonation, that is the rising and the falling, the TH words, the H factor. Some of us cannot speak without saying house. I'm going to the house. Go and buy the apple. My here, or hold your here. No, that's the H factor, and it can't be worked on. Public speaking is what we will look in details. We want to understand proven techniques. This is just the tip of the iceberg that I'm just giving you. You have not even seen anything compared to what the Elocution Mastery course is all about. You cannot get through the Elocution Mastery course and your life will remain the same. No. What set this course apart? Why is this course very important, or why is it very unique? Now you have expert guidance. So this is the structure of the class. The class, you have access to pre-recorded videos, 2 or 3 recorded videos every week. And once every weekend, we're going to have a live class like this for 2 hours where I'm going to take your questions. We're going to take you through what you have watched. I want to give you exercises. I want to hear you speak. I want to identify specific areas where you need fine-tuning and touch and polish so I could help you touch all those areas and become articulate. You have 1 year access to these videos, to the course, to the classes. You would have 1 year access to it. But the class, I'm going to work with you consistently for 5 good weeks. Isn't that amazing? Now, registration for the next batch has commenced. It has started today. The link to the class will be posted on the what's it called, on the chat box on YouTube. So those of us here on the what's it called? Those of us here on YouTube on Zoom, please use the chat box. Check the WhatsApp group. I'm going to drop the link for the registration for the next batch there. So for the next 5 weeks from the 1st of July, I'm going to take you through this class, the Elocution Mastery course. So this registration will end on the 29th of June. You have the luxury of time to get your special seat and sit there. And of course, just like we do, after this night, I'm going to let the WhatsApp group open where we have over 2,500 people who are already on the call. I'm going to open it so we can talk about some of these things. The group has been locked for a very long time. I'd like to take your questions right there if you have any. So classes would run from the 1st of July to the 4th of August. Yes, that's how we're going to run these classes. And I cannot wait to hold your hand. I cannot wait to say, yes, that you were once a mumbler, but now you are a succinct speaker. You were once someone who was not, articulate, but now you were a great, eloquent enunciator. That is what I want for you. You might ask, how much is this? Shikini money. 29,500. This class is going for 29,500. And for 5 weeks, you would be with me. We'll have a chat group. It's going to be an awesome time to learn. Remember that of the adults will start from the 1st of July and run through the 4th of August. Now, that of the children comes up every holiday. So this holiday, that summer holiday, we'll also have classes for the children. So begin to drop your questions because after now, I want to go through your questions, okay? I'll look for a way to get over to the Zoom so I could also get your questions right there. So that's how the structure of the Elocution Mastery course is. The children's class is just 15,000 and that of the adult is only 29,500. Well, for this year. Yes, that's when it's coming up. So the good thing about this course is it can be easily learned. You don't need any qualification or degree. Listen, you don't need to study English. I didn't study English. You don't need to be a pro. You don't need to study phonology. You don't need to go to Cambridge or Oxford. Just come as you are. Your age does not matter. You don't even need to have a laptop. You just need an internet-enabled gadget. Your phone is even enough. Okay? You can even monetize the skill after now. You have a lot to do. You don't need to have a prime knowledge of the English sound to be in the Elocution Mastery course. And if you ever have any inquiry, suggestion, reaction, contribution, please, I'm holding on for your questions. Please begin to put the questions in the chat box. Remember, I told you I'm not going to be like Mr. Kilichi that will not let you ask questions. So please begin to ask your question. So if you want to talk to me, if you've got any inquiry, suggestion, reaction, contribution, whatever it is, please, this is where you can make your inquiry. I'll always be in the DM to talk to you, to take the call, you can take a screenshot of this screen. You can take a screenshot of this slide to call me if you want with the number you were seeing. I do well on calls with this phone. And then if you want to send me a DM on Instagram, on TikTok, please do well and I'll be at the other side. Thank you most graciously for this class. I hope you got value. Please let me know the one thing that stood out for you in this class. There's no question on the Zoom. No question on the Zoom. Let me check on YouTube to know if you have a question. And please, I'd like you to drop in the comments. Tell me one thing that has stood out for you in this class. Tell me one thing that was just it, like you just felt this really relates to you. I'd like to know. So I'm right here now. I'm checking YouTube with my phone on the chat box. So tell me your question. Drop your question, please, so I can take them. Yes, I can see all the comments on YouTube now. They're no rich. Okay. So I'm waiting for your question. I'm both on Zoom and on the call, waiting for your question. Waiting for your question. Thank you very much. Also, drop what has stood out for you. So you've seen the link, the registration link is there. Please use the registration link if you want to register this night. I'm not giving you a free gift. This is not those free webinars you go and they say, oh, if you register today, there'll be a discount. And this will transform your life. I know the value I'm bringing to you. If we had to check the worth, it is worth more than 50,000 naira. Some of you that have come to me for one-on-one training, you know how much, you know the hundreds of thousands I called for you. But I've thought of a way where I can meet more people at the same time and as well give it at a very subsidized rate. And that's why the elocution mastery course was born. So I have a question. How can someone who, when she wants to express herself, for example, sharing an experience she had, she's short of words, improve? What can she do on a daily basis to get better expressing herself? Okay. This question is asked by I'm trying not to pronounce your name wrongly. Shola. Oyinka Shola. Oyinka Shola is asking a very important question. So what most of us say is, oh, how can we start? Or what is the right way? You know, what is the right way? How can I build my confidence? One thing I would tell you is practice. Practice is what has helped me to step into a place of authority. In fact, when I go for trainings, anytime I go for a training and I pay heavily for that training, I begin to look for a school where I'm going to give them the training for free because I want to know if I want to test my skill of knowledge. I want to know if I can be able to say or give out as much as I have learned. And I can only do that when I teach it. Remember, I said that you can only say as much as you know. So one way is practice, practice, practice. This is my second time of having a webinar. I don't do webinars. My webinars come up once every year. My webinars come up once every year. And I started this webinar last year. But let me tell you the truth, even before I came up for this webinar, as seasoned as good as I am, I practiced some of these things. I just thought because I don't want to have something that I'll be reading from, and I wanted you to see my face because I wanted to connect with you on a deeper level. Remember, part of being a confident speaker, you have to connect on a deeper level. So I wanted you to see me, and I just knew that I needed no script except for the slides that I would use. So one thing you have to do is practice. I'll be in the bathroom, I'm having my bath, I'm rehearsing one of the stories I want to tell you because I want to be sure that I'm remembering all the points that would help to reflect or connect with you in the way I want to. So that is the answer to that question. Does that answer your question, Shola? So someone is asking again. Oluwa is asking, Ireti Oluwa, I hope I pronounced that rightly. She said, what about someone who knows what to say, but her voice shakes whenever she talks? You know why your voice is shaking? Your voice is shaking because of the nerves that are creeping in. Let me tell you, sometimes before I even started this live, I don't know, for no reason, I just felt my heartbeat was raised. I'm like, oh, what is this? Come on, it. Come on, it. You have been doing this. The nerves are always there. When your voice begins to shake, don't just stop. When you realize that your voice is shaking, as someone who is starting off, when it is shaking, don't stop. Because when you pause and just close your mouth, you would realize that all the things, all your enemies will just start playing again in your head. They keep coming back. They keep haunting you. They keep daunting you. It keeps coming back and it becomes a problem. Don't keep quiet when your voice becomes shaky. You'd realize that every word you would say, after each word, after each sentence, it will get stronger. That is one tip that I would tell you. So any other question? A strong opening is always a hook. Yes, yes. A strong opening would help you for your voice not to shake. If you have practiced your opening, if you have practiced, remember the 3 ways of the strong opening, either a question, a thought-provoking question, not just any question, either a question, either a story, either a quote. When that alone is already helping you, because what's making your voice to shake is when you've gotten there and you don't know the right words to say. You don't know how to start it. So a strong opening is always the hook. Ifenyuwa, my friend, is asking, how can I deal with filler words? Oh, filler words, practice does it. I used to speak now. Let me tell you, I'm a Jos girl. Oh. I grew up in Plateau State. I was just born in the East and I was less than 3 months when they brought me to Plateau State. I was in Plateau State. I did my nursery, primary, and I started my university in Plateau State. And as a just girl, there's no how you can't speak without saying ba. So ba became my filler word. I can't speak without saying ba. Ba, that thing I was talking about, this thing, fa. And ba, every time that, so ba became my filler word. But I decided to start on learning to relearn. And let me tell you, that's one of the most difficult parts of learning. When you begin to unlearn to start relearning, it's extremely difficult. But if you are very intentional and deliberate, you'd realize that over time you're making progress. When you're intentional, that's time when the bar is about to come. Just stop, pause. Use the pause to collect your thoughts, to think of the next words you would say, to put yourself together so you can let the next word come out without a filler word. That's the tip that I would give you. Any other question? Excuse my manners. One thing that has stood out for me is confidence comes from a place of competence. Period. And that's a period. Yes, that's the truth. Confidence comes from a place of competence. How can one easily improve on one's vocabulary, right choice of words? Well, for vocabulary, I think it also depends on your audience, right? Those in the Zoom, no question for me? No question. Okay. Okay, no question. So one thing that stood out for me is don't go looking for big vocabulary. Just start from the regular is, was, there, come, he, put it together. But see, you can get all the big vocabulary in this world, but if you are not igniting the fire in your voice, if there's no rhythm and melody and cadence and highlights and in your voice, it's still not going to make any meaning. We don't want to sound like Senator Patrick, who would speak and nobody understand. We just throw our legs up and we laugh because, hey, we're like, God, what is this? It's not as if we're understanding what he's saying. Let me speak for myself. Most times I don't understand what he's saying. And there's something when you begin to use big vocabulary, you wouldn't know when you're using it in the wrong situation. English is a contextual language. You can say a word can mean something in its definition, but when you use it in the wrong context, it is a problem. So one thing I'm going to say is just start, don't go looking for big vocabulary. When you have mastered speaking smoothly, eloquently, confidently, and powerfully, you can now start investing in your vocabulary and building your word bank. If you listen to me, I'm not someone who uses much vocabulary. I believe in keep it simple because I want people that I'm speaking, I want everyone to understand me. Let me tell you, do you know that the last research that just I made, the world has just hit 8 billion people. Is it 8 or 6 billion people? But do you know that out of all of that is only 1.5 billion people that have a basic knowledge of English? I mean, basic knowledge. I don't mean people who can speak a basic knowledge of English. Just 1.5 billion people in the world. So you see the statistics. When you go using a lot of vocabulary, your listener might not even understand you. So I believe in keeping it simple. Okay, keep it simple. Any other question? All right, no question. Oh, I even have someone who I've trained who is on the call. Miss Lillian, I can see you on YouTube. Are you there? Miss Lillian, can you just let me send you the link on Zoom so you can come online so they can hear your voice and hear the melody in your voice and how you speak. I'm sure it's going to help them know that this definitely works. And our mama, please, if you are available to talk to us, please unmute and talk so that we can hear you because we've not heard your voice. I'm holding on for any question, any question. Any question, please let me know any question. If you have any question. Any last question? So registration has started for the elocution mastery course. Please do well to register because I'm not giving you, register from now to get a discount. No. If you know the value of what you would be learning, If you know how transformative this is going to be for you, how redefined you would be, then you would understand that this is really what you should get into. Yes, this is really what you should just pay immediately. You can see the link. The link is already there. So use the link to register. Please use the link to register. I am also going to paste the link on YouTube on our WhatsApp chat so that you can have it. Use the link to register. Our class is starting on the 1st of July to run through to the 4th of August. And God knows how happy I'm going to feel seeing you in the elocution mastery course, because you'd always be by my corner. You'd always be around me. There are people who have always been there. Okay, Miss Lillian, I realize you're not online. I sent you the link to the Zoom, but you're not online. I wanted you to hear someone that I've trained and to hear how she speaks right now. E dey walk, oh, e dey walk. E dey walk, oh, my people. No dull, e dey walk. Okay, I have a question on you on Zoom. Someone says, "Hello, coach. I think I have a very soft voice, and this makes me think my voice is really uncomfortable." See, that soft voice that you have is what will make your listeners to fall in love with you all the more. See, I just wish I had a softer voice. And, some people think, we could be in the room and we're talking. My mother would say, "Why are you raising your voice? Like, why are you sounding so loud?" That's what makes you being that unique speaker that you are. And remember what I said. You need to find out with your personality, you need to find out your unique speaking style and stick to it. So you having a very soft voice will even make people love you all the more. When you speak, people will just be all the You don't want people to for you. No. However your voice is, that's what makes you you. Please do not change your voice. When I speak Hausa, when I speak Yoruba, when I speak, it's the same voice. It is still the same voice. Now you spoke Igbo, it's the same voice that you can hear. It's not about your voice. See, this thing is not about what you say. It is about how you say it. That's the signs that I want you to internalize. It's not always about what it is about how you say the things you say. So I hope this makes sense to you. I hope this speaks to someone there. I hope this appeals to you. Please use the link in the chat to register. And it's on this note, in the absence of any other question, I would say those of you who are still here with me and is 9:28, I would say congratulations. I hope this was worth your time. I will open the respective WhatsApp group. I want to hear what stood out for you. I want to know if it was worth your time. I want to take more of your questions. I want to be sure that this was worth it for you. And I want to see you grow. I love to hear you speak right. Thank you very much for joining me on this transformative journey. And I'm waiting for you in the Elocution Mastery course. Please make sure you register and let's transform the world. Let's reclaim your voice. Let's rewrite the narrative. Have a wonderful night rest. Good night, everyone.